Hi everyone, welcome to Ancho Academy. In this part 3 of the series, we will learn how to create multiple endpoints to query from the database based on the situation, and then we will see how to use expression syntax to make it more generic so that this can be extended for additional um, conditions that we want to query. So I'm using the application that was created in the part 2. The link for this source code, I will put it in the description. Now in this tutorial, we will create some new endpoints to query the database and then use expression to make it more generic. So let's start. So here, if you see, I have a simple API application and a database project, and then I have AdventureWorks database that you can install in your system from Microsoft portal. This is a sample database with some sample data that you get. So here, if I query the product table which we have been working, so there are some data in the product table which I would like to query. Now, if I run the current API that we have, let's see what it does. So in this API, we have some get products, get product by ID, get custom product by ID, add product, and edit product. So here, I see that there's no way to query based on the product name, for example, or there is no way to query based on the product number. So we will see how to add an endpoint that will take a name or a product number as an input and return as the data. So to do that, we will go to our interface, which has the call listed here. So we have get products here. So here I will add a new method which will give me a list of products video, and then I'm going to call it get product by name because we are going to query it based on the name, like this. So we have a method here, get product by name, that will take a product name as an input and then query the database to get all the products which are which contains those names. So now I'll go to the database project, and then since we added a new endpoint or a new method, we need to implement that. So here, so this data got added here. So here what I will do, I will create the videos, wait context dot product dot where x dot product name, or I think it's start name, equal to product name dot project to wrapper dot configuration dot to, I need to project this to video, full discussing, and then product videos. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are taking the input as a product name. We are just querying it based on the product and then we are returning it. Now in order to access this, I will go to the controllers and add a new method here. We'll call it get products by name. So here we will add a method which returns this method get products by product name. Now let's see if this works. Let me pick a product from the table. So you can see that it returned the data. So now if I just give a partial product, let's say I want to do, get all the products, right? It's not returning the data. So this is a problem because we are actually exactly matching the product name in the query. So we can fix that by doing a small change. So here instead of doing equal to, we'll use contains product name. Yeah. So now you can see it returned all the products which had that name. So it returned all the records. So it basically matched wherever we gave. So if I want just the bearing, I just put that execute. And you can see all I got the bearing data. So this is good. Now let's say I want to query on the product number. Okay. So to do that, similarly what we did now, I'll go to the interface. So here we would like to add a new method query by product number. I'm going to rename it to product number. By the way, it's a string. Product number is a string in the database. So this is what you will be doing. Now that we added a new method, I'm going to implement that here. So here what I will do, I will just copy the same method. So here I will say product number or contains product number. So now what we are doing, we are querying this table, product table, and then we are putting a condition on the number. So now in order to do access this, we will add a new method. Copy this. Get products by going to be product number, and then that goes here as well. Then it's going to be product number, and same thing we're going to pass here. Then it's going to be product by product number. Now let's see if this works. So get products by product number. So I'm going to pick a product, maybe CA, then yes, yeah. So it returned all the product number that has CA in them. So far so good. Now what if I want to add a method where I want to query by maybe color, right? So I want to query by safety stock level. I want to query by list price. So there are many columns in this. So we need to keep adding the endpoints and the methods. Now looking at the method itself, so here, if you see, we added two new methods, and then in future, if we need more querying needs to be done, we have to add more and more methods into this place. But you can see that few things we are repeating here, right? The same pattern we are returning, right? We are returning product DTO. We are doing only this is changing here, correct? So only where condition is changing, and then we are always returning product DTO most of the times, and then we are all always querying the product. So is there a way we can make it generic? That way, in future, if you want to add more methods to query different columns, or maybe I want to query a complex one where I want to say product and number, right, which matches both. So in those scenarios, it's better we do the make it more generic. So in order to make it more generic, let's first add a method that can query the product table in a generic way. So I'm going to say it's going to be a private method, and since I want it to be like a query that product, so I'm going to say private iQueryable, and then I'm going to query on the product. So I'm going to put it as product, and I'm going to say get products. Now this will take as we see here, it's the where condition is changing here, right? Between two methods, where condition is changing. So if I can pass the where condition, which is a predicate, and then query the products table, and then I can use that in my method. So to do that, let's try that. So I will create a query first. This query is going to query the product, right? And then I'm going to say dot has no tracking. This is just to make sure that we don't track it using the entity framework, because we are reading this data and not writing it. Dot as queryable. Okay, and then I'm going to say return query. Yeah. So for now, I will just say get products one. Okay, so now what is happening is we are writing a method which will query this table for us, but where is the condition? We need to add the condition, right? So to do the condition, and then maybe I should be able to take more than one condition that I want to apply. So in order to do that, I am going to create a list of something called expression, because my where condition is going to be an expression, and then that's going to take a func, and the input for that will be product, because that's where I'm going to query, and the result is going to be bool. Then I'm going to call it predicates. Okay, so simple. So it's taking a function which will return like a bool value. Now, in order to do that, or to use that, I'm going to say for each where predicate and predicates. I'm going to say query is equal to query dot where predicates. So I'm going to apply these predicates to the query, and then I'm going to return the query. So that way I can pass where conditions dynamically to this. Now what we will do here under the get products only, here we can add a method called actually, you know what, this should be called get products query. Okay, because it's returning the query. Now what we will do, we will create a generic method called get products that will take this list, and then it will give us the products that we need. So I'm going to call this public async ask, then it's going to be list of product DTO, like we have been doing earlier. I'm going to call it get products, and then it's going to take the expression, right? It's going to take the list of expression from our code, which is by so you can call it filter or you can call it predicate. Okay, now what happens is, first thing is we need the query, right, to do that. So I'm going to say where query is equal to the method that we just added right now. So we are going to add access that method here. So I'm going to say get products query, and then I'm going to pass the predicates to that. Okay, so that way that where condition gets applied to that. Next is I will say where product details is equal to, I'm going to do await query dot to list async. Okay, so here what we are doing, before we do that we need to project it, right? So we need to query dot project to, it's going to be product DTO to list async, and then return product details. And then of course what is the problem here? Yeah, I think there's a dot missing here. Okay, so this is how we are going to do. So we are going to take product DTO, and then it's going to project to product DTO, but the where condition it's going to apply it in the query itself. That's why we are passing the predicates here. Okay, so now what we will do with this done, so with this done, we will add this method to the interface so that we can access it from outside. So I'm going to add it here, bring in the namespace. Okay, now in the product controller, where I have the get products. So here what I will do, instead of uh, returning the product by name, I'm going to, first thing is I need to create the a predicate, right? So because if I want to do await data dot get products, if I want to do this, you can see the second option that we have here is going to take the expression here. So I need to first build the expression here and then send it to that method. So to do that, what I have to do? So I have to create a list of expressions, right? So I'm going to say where predicates equal to new list of expression of func product pool. Now, um, we need to create the actual expression itself. So the expression is going to be x dot name dot contains product name. Okay. So now what I will do, I'm going to add predicates dot add expression, and then I'm going to pass this predicates into this method. Okay. So now get products by name is no longer calling the method that we wrote earlier, but it's calling the new method and passing the expression to the method which gets applied. So now let's see if this works. So the same expression I'm going to give. Yeah, so you can see, right, the expression worked, and then we can also see the query here that was fired, and then this query was fired, and then it queried based on the product name, and then we call the generic method here. Okay, so similarly we will change our get product by number. See, now it's very simple now to change to call my um, get products by number. All that I have to do is I'm going to copy paste this, and then I'm going to change the condition here. Instead of name, I'm going to say product number, right? Product number dot contains product number. Then I'm adding the expression, and I'm just calling this is all I need. I'm going to say ca. Yeah, so you can see, right, it is working with the product number that we use the same method. So we are using the same get products in both the methods, and then we're just passing a different expression to query it. Okay, so now so with that done, right, so we can remove these custom methods that we had created, right? Custom products, so these things can be cleaned up. Actually, we don't need this anymore. Then interface also, we can remove this. Yeah, and it will still work because we are no longer using it. So it works. So now, if you want to add any more methods, we can always add it, right? So all that you have to do is use the same get products method and pass the expression, and then it will return the data. One more optimization we can do, that is here in the get products, right? We are always sending product DTO, but what if you create another DTO and you want to apply that, right? So it is not still not generic enough for us to try it out. So to make it generic, so we can just say T, and then we are going to project to T, and then we are going to return that. So here it will be just data because it is generic. So we will just return data. Okay, I think I did on the wrong method. Yeah, so we should do it here. So this get products method, right? So instead of giving always product DTO, I'm going to get this from the input, and then I'm going to just make it generic. Now that it takes T as an input, so we have to change it in the interface as well. Now this will no longer take product DTO, but it's going to take generic parameter. Now for this to work here, we need to tell which data that we want it to project to, and the projection is going to be product DTO. Same with here as well. So you can create another one product DTO2 tomorrow if you want, and then you can just use it, right? With so our method, this method need not change here because it's taking the where conditions which is on a product but is again generic, and then it is the return type is also generic. Now let's see if this works. Yes, it's working. And then product by number. Yes, it is working. Um, if you want, we can also like create a new method. What if I want to query both get product by name and number, right? That's a good use case for us. I'm going to just copy this method. Let's see if that works. I'm going to say get products by product name and product number, and then I'm going to take both here, and then in my expression, I'm going to make this as expression 1, and this is for product number, and this is for expression 2 for my product name, and then I'm going to add both. Now you can say I'm combining it, right? I'm combining two expressions for this new method which will take product name and product number. So I'm taking both the expressions and then I'm adding it to the predicate and sending it. All that I need is this much. So you can see the new method. So I'm going to say product name as LL and then product number is CA. query on that. Yeah. So you can see it queried on both, right? So LL and CA, and then I will show you the query that it was passed. So you can see, right, it put the condition here and then it queried. So basically we were able to query multiple things without changing anything in the data access layer, right? We were only just changing the expression and then passing the expression. This is how you can use expression to query dynamically. So I hope you understood. uh, if you like, please subscribe to the channel for more videos, and also like the channel or the video. Thank you. Please subscribe to Ancha Academy.